This is the HPC or Hi-Power Cycles SuperMundo, and it's built around the Yuba Mundo frame. It's this awesome cargo bike setup, and it's a steel frame, so it's really sturdy, really durable, actually. Just the back of this thing alone is set up to carry 350, 400 pounds, and plus you've got a rider up here, and there's all kinds of accessories that fit onto these braisons all across the frame. They say on their website that this can carry 750 pounds, and so it's just amazing. You've got this deflopilator up here that keeps the front wheel from kind of turning out under you if you're loading this up, if you have the racks. You've got these sort of bamboo setups on the rear, and you've got these little, if someone was sitting on this, kind of like footrests, but they also have different panels you can put in there where the front wheel of a bike can sit in that, and so you can actually use this to haul other bikes around. I think the primary use cases here might be for like a family or something, you're hauling kids and sort of picnicking and that kind of thing, or if you're a hunter and you want to put a whole bunch of your supplies on this and get out there with something that's quiet, something that's efficient. You don't have to mess with gas and stuff. Or you could be someone like a bike packer, someone who goes across and has their tent and everything, and you're kind of camping and traveling with this. I would estimate that this could get between 30 and 45 miles per charge. It's about a 52 volt, 12.5 amp hours on that pack, lithium ion cells. I'm told that they are Panasonic, which is really high quality stuff. So that's a pretty sizable pack. And then this motor, this is the stock motor that it comes with. This is 2,000 watt motor. Yuba, they have had their own conversions of this same frame, and I think it goes for like $3,200. And they use the Bionic system is the most recent version of that, and it's a 36 volt, 10 amp hour, or maybe 9 amp hour, and then the motor's 350 watts, and it's a rear hub motor. And so talking about 350 watts versus 2,000, and this is significantly stronger, and this is mid-mounted, so it actually brings some of the weight towards the center of the frame, which is going to improve the balance a little bit. And by being a mid-drive system, it actually drives this Shimano Altus cassette in the rear, and so you can actually leverage these 7 speeds and make it a little easier for the motor when climbing. You go to a lower gear. If you're trying to go fast, you go to a high gear. It's awesome, but there's no shift sensing in this. It's so it's really up to you to make sure that you aren't throttling the bike while you're shifting, or you could kind of mess this up given the power here. This is a Crystal Light motor, by the way. I want to call it the Kickstand while we're down here, because this is one of the biggest, burliest kickstands I've ever seen, and it's super sturdy. You'll note that there are 3 sprockets on that front cassette, and there's no derailleur. So the way it's set up right now, this just pulls straight, and then there is a freewheel here. So when you pedal like this, see, the motor's not turning. But when the motor turns, it's got its own freewheel, so that pulls the rear wheel. So they're really separate. You're not fighting the motor or anything. And these Crystal Light motors, they are capable of regen, but they don't have that set up on this bike. Frankly, given all of the complexity of this, freewheels and stuff, it might be difficult to set that up versus if this was actually in the rear wheel as a hub motor traditionally would be. So the other interesting sort of upgrades they've done to this, it's not a completely stock El Mundo, obviously. They've got these 203 millimeter mechanical disc brakes front and rear, Tektro calipers and everything. Got Tektro levers up here. They don't have the motor inhibitor set up, and I think that they chose not to do that because this is just a twist, it comes stock either with a twist throttle, or you can optionally get a thumb throttle like we're seeing here. Okay, so it's less likely that you're going to be using pedal assist, because there is no pedal assist, and that's usually when they have a motor inhibitor. So I wanted to kind of point that out and clarify. Okay, so to get the bike powered on, what you do is come down here to the controller, and they've actually set a hard limit on this so that it only goes up to 36 amps output. But when they ship it to you, at 14 amps using the cycle computer, and they limit the top speed to 20 miles per hour so that it's street legal in the United States. Because, really a 2,000 watt motor, the limit is 750 watts. So they program it to be at the top end of illegal in the United States, and then you can kind of mess with that and you know, overclock it if you're going off-road. So I'll go ahead and press the button on that controller. Cycle Analyst version 2.3 comes up. It's showing my voltage here and then amp hours used, right? So right now it's 57.1. Fully charged might be closer to 58. So we've used a little bit, and maybe you go down. I think they put a hard stop at like 45 volts, because if you drain the battery too far, that can be kind of hard on it. And they say try to keep it between like 20 and 80% if you're not using the bike. That's the best sort of level for the battery. So this isn't quite as user-friendly as something like a bike that has a picture of a battery and it shows the bars. You kind of have to learn about the bike as you're going along, but that also gives you a lot of flexibility in how you use this. I mean, this can really offer a lot of power. I think they've got a video back at their website where they're like pulling a car with this bike using just the standard Shimano Altus derailleur, and I think they were even concerned about how that was going to play out, but they just went for it. And there's a bunch of guys, and we'll do some ride tests. They'll be hauling each other around. It's very, very capable. It's very powerful, but again, it ships sort of stock. If you want to change some of that, you hold down on the left button, and let's see, it goes into setup, and then you can kind of arrow to the right, set the units. They're in miles right now. Set the wheel, speed limit. Okay, so if I want to mess with that, I like hold down on the right button for a couple seconds, and it lets me basically change the number. Right now it's at 20 miles per hour. I could go up to 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour. I mean, there is a physical limit to this given the amps that are set up right now, which basically top out at 36, and then that 2,000 watt motor. But this is just, you're telling analysts what you want to do. I'm going to leave it at 20 miles per hour. Okay, and then here we are at amps limit. Again, they've got it limited at 14, and this is physically limited at like 36. So the more amps, that's more power that you're going to get. I'm going to leave it at 14 amps. And then the low volts limit, that's what I was talking about earlier, where below 45 volts, like that's kind of a measure of charge on the battery, and if you go below that, you could start to hurt the battery by like more fully discharging it than you'd want. So that's kind of a cool limit that they set up there. And then main display, watts, advanced, and now I'm leaving setup. So that's just a quick overview of Cycle Analyst computer. This is a pretty cool system. It's actually backlit, so you can use this in sort of the evening or at nighttime. And then they've got this really solid metal bracket right here that mounts it to the stem, and the stem is adjustable height. You got this sort of swept back bar with these ergonomic grips. I did want to call out these nice aluminum alloy platform pedals. Got some SRAM cranks. Just it's a pretty decent setup, and a lot of that just comes from the Yuba side of building a solid bicycle platform that they're leveraging here. This is a lot heavier than your traditional Yuba electric bikes. It's about 89 pounds. That's pretty significant, but of course you are getting that higher power and that increased range as a result. Again, this is about $4,700 for this bike versus about $3,200 for the Bionic setup on the Yuba El Mundo. Kind of keep that in consideration. And then the standard El Mundo is about 66 pounds, instead of 89. So there's some trade-offs, some questions to ask yourself. I'm just gonna hop on and do a quick little ride test. Check it out. I was actually impressed, even though it's 89 pounds, it actually still pedals pretty well. It feels stable, and with those 7 speeds, you're able to gear it down to an easy gear and just kind of pedal along like normal. It's really not too bad. There isn't a suspension fork, so it can be a little jarring at times, depending on the speed you're going and the terrain. Nice to have those big disc brakes on there. I think when they started out with this bike, they just had the standard like 160mm brakes, and you can get going pretty fast with a lot of weight on this thing, so it's a nice setup. They improved that. Okay, so wanted to demonstrate the power of the SuperMundo here. We've got a few guys, and we've got this like bike setup that I was talking about where it like the tire can kind of fit into this little slot, and you can use this as a bike hauler. I'm gonna be riding along on this bike. I have no idea how steep that hill is, but it's definitely a hill. This is not something that would be super fun to pedal yourself up. Again, the weight limit for this whole bike is like 750. How much do you weigh? Like, what's the?
I'm about 235 or
235.
so.
Okay, and you?
155.
155, and we got a bike in tow. Okay, sweet.
And yeah, so you're gonna sit on, Justin. You're gonna sit.
We're gonna add even more weight?
Yeah.
Nice. There we go. Yeah. Take a loop. Get things straightened out. Here it comes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even ask, how much does that guy at the end weigh?
I don't know, like 120
120.
something.
120. Oh my gosh. Look at this. All motor power. Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is incredible. And now he's doing some pedaling, helping out a little bit.
This is only 2,000 watts.
It's a 2,000 watt motor, because you guys offer it in like a couple flavors, right?
Yeah, it goes 2,000, 2,800, and 3,500 watts.
He's giving me specs on the way up.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You can tell that, you know, just very light pedaling helps it along. If we had, oh shoot.
Oh shit. Crack the whip going on here.
If we had more power.
Oh my gosh. There we go. I think I call that a success. That is awesome.
Why would we shaking so much? What happened at the end?
Look at that. Where we came from down there. Oh my gosh. That was a great effort. Good job. It's a 203mm disc brakes in action. Oh yeah. That's important.
Yeah, you have to have them.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. This is crazy. Is this how you guys test all of your bikes?
Yeah, pretty much.
There we go. We made it down alive. So that's the Hi-Power Cycle SuperMundo. For the full write-up on this, more info, I'll see you back at ElectricRideReview.com.